Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good as well. It's Friday. I'm so excited. I've got a guest coming up today. I actually have two guests. One that I spoke to last Monday as well for Movie Star Monday. Do you remember Dar Dixon? Super nice dude. While we were talking, he was telling me about a movie that he was in called The Passenger. It's a short film.
Okay.
And it's a fascinating concept for a movie. And we're going to be visiting with Dar again. And then Gary Emrick is going to be on as well. He's the one that put the movie together. And it was part of a contest where they had like 168 hours to film an entire movie, edit it, and turn it in. How crazy is that?
Fun.
So excited to chat with them. Again, Dar Dixon and Gary Emrick coming up later on the program. You ready for a quote for today?
I am.
Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Absolutely,
That is
without a doubt.
Proverb. I like it. I feel like I've fallen numerous times, but guess what?
Yep.
Every time I get up, dust myself off, and keep on moving. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, the 18th day of May. Today is Cheese Souffle Day. What is that? National Cheese Souffle? What is cheese souffle? Have you ever had that?
I've never had one, I don't think.
Okay. National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day. I've never had that either. National No Dirty Dishes Day. I don't celebrate that one often. I got to get better at, cleaning up after myself.
Our son cleaned the kitchen
He did.
yesterday.
That was really nice of him. National Visit Your Relatives Day today. Mom. National. I'm just kidding. I love you, Mama. National Bike to Work Day. National Defense Transportation Day. National Endangered Species Day. National Pizza Party Day.
Ooh.
There's one to celebrate. And today is NASCAR Day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. That's 800-818-3967. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first I have a very important question to ask you, Heidi.
Okay.
Do you know who Brooke Burke is?
No.
Do you know who David Sharvett is?
No.
Okay. Well, this story might not make sense to you either. For those of you who know who those two people are, this might hit home to you. It says Brooke Burke told U.S. Weekly News she may never date again after her divorce from husband David Sharvett. It was in with the celebrity news, but I've
Okay.
never heard of it.
I have no
Here's
idea.
the thing. Maybe I've heard of both of them, and I just didn't know it. So I was going to Google it and see if they looked familiar, and I haven't
I have
done that.
no idea.
I have a link to the story if you really care about it. But here's one of the things that I want to say to Brooke. I'm sure she's listening right now. First of all, sorry I don't know who you are. But the second thing I want to say to Brooke is don't give up that easily. I went through a divorce. I got married very young, and I went through a divorce. And I remember saying on the day that I was finally moving and everything was, finalized, I remember saying to my brother that day, I will never get married again. Said that. Guess what happened? That night, God introduced me to another beautiful woman by the name of Heidi, the one that's sitting next to me right here. Neither one of us were looking for somebody else in our life. And that night, seriously, the same day I said I'll never get married again, I met the woman of my dreams. So, Brooke, don't give up so darn easily. About the time you quit, that's when God's going to find the right person for you. So, I'm really glad I met you that night. And I'm really glad that you called me afterwards. She stalked me for a while.
Oh, I did not.
Come on, give me at least that
Wow,
fun story.
that's
Okay, that's not even at all how it happened. Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs. This is a story we talked about last year when the event actually happened. But there's an update. The Missouri woman who had the loaded handgun hidden in her person, remember this? The loaded handgun hidden.
Oh, inside her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she pled
Bad
guilty.
idea.
It was a terrible idea. I don't even understand what the plan was. But during an appearance in court, was it last week? When was the hearing? It was just recently. This was sent to me, and I honestly was not going to read it, but I don't have another Brain on Drugs story for today. So I was like, oh, man, I am at the bottom of the barrel. So here it is. She was charged, 27-year-old Annika Witt, said that she had a plea agreement. It requires her to testify at a trial against an acquaintance who was also arrested at that time. And the two were arrested during a traffic stop where they had heroin and ecstasy. And during the time they were bringing her into the jail, that's when they found a .380 caliber handgun hidden. We'll just say, I'm not going to say where, but it wasn't in her pocket. We'll put it that way. The weapon, police say, was fully loaded with the clip and a bullet in the chamber. And our son would go nuts hearing that because it's a magazine, not a clip. So, but that's what it says in the story. I've got a link to that whole thing in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. Roseanne Barr defended her most recent episode of Roseanne, which we watched, by the way. We got caught up this last weekend. I had only seen the first new episode, and then we hadn't watched the rest. Not that we didn't want to watch it, we just hadn't had time. And they said she had to defend her new episode against charges it was Islamophobic. If you watch the whole episode,
it wasn't either.
Because and I understand what they're saying is, in the beginning it was like, wow, that's kind of insensitive. But then their characters kind of turned the corner, and then she defended her neighbor to the lady at the store. So I understand where you're coming from, but I think if you didn't watch the whole episode, you probably wouldn't appreciate.
Right. I thought it was great. I thought it was very well done.
And then NBC has picked up Brooklyn Nine-Nine for a 6th season just days after they announced it was canceled. So they announced that, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. And then they had an outpouring.
That show is terrible.
I like it. They had an outpouring of support. All 7 of us fans sent an email, and they said, okay, we better put that back on. There's 7 fans out there. No, I'm sure there's more than that. I really do like it. Honestly, I haven't watched it in, I don't know, about a year, so I got to catch up on that one now as well. But NBC picked up Brooklyn Nine-Nine for season number 6. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Time now for your scoop of the day, brought to you by 49bydesign.com. And we don't have a ton of stories, but the stories we have are pretty darn good stories, Heidi. So like this, it says, are you ready to say I do? Be sure to keep the glitz and glamour to a minimum if you want it to last. Recent study claims couples who have flashy, expensive weddings are more likely to get divorced. A research firm, Splendid Insights, did a survey, and they found couples who spent more than $30,000 on their big day were more likely to worry about impressing their guests. That's compared to the couples who spent under $10,000. And this isn't the first study to point from dollars to divorce. It says an academic study of American marriages in 2014 also found that couples who planned a pricey spectacle were more likely to get divorced. According to the Wedding Report, the average American couple spends $26,000 on their wedding. That's from 2017. Food, by the way, is the big expense, averaging $4,700, followed by location, $3,600, the engagement ring, $3,400. The average newlywed spends $2,800 on photography, $1,600 on flowers, and $800 on invitations. So there you go. I remember when you and I were married.
I would agree with that, though, because my first wedding was big, fancy, expensive, and it ended up in divorce. And you
Same
and
with
I,
me.
it was $200.
Yeah. So were you? Yeah. How about you? Sure. 18 years later, baby.
And we didn't know a single person at our wedding, so we weren't impressing anybody.
No. You impressed, sir? Who are you?
The guy with the thong and the plate of French fries. Are you having a good time?
Do we have him in any of our photos?
He's in a couple of
Is
our
he?
photos in our
I
wedding
just think
album.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. We got married in Jamaica on a beach. Well, no, it was actually in the garden. It was going to be on the beach, but it was too windy.
Really windy.
But there were people from the beach who stumbled into the garden. Oh, it was kind of interesting.
Garden of Eden.
Oh, yeah, it sure was. So what they're saying, and I've got a link to the story for those of you who maybe know somebody who's getting married. Now, here's the thing. Those of you in the wedding industry, don't be upset with me. I'm not saying anything other than what this study says. So you should embrace this and let people know that, hey, here are ways to maybe slim down how much you're spending. And if you can help people, that's a good thing. And then now let's talk about another wedding story. 50-year-old Shaffy Brown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, easy for me to say, was recently arrested and charged with bigamy. It was discovered that he was married to 2 different women at the same time. Brown's wife of 25 years complained to the sheriff's office after she found paperwork with her husband's name and some other woman's name on it. He told his first wife he needed to buy a house in Baton Rouge because he frequently worked long hours there. His first wife became suspicious when she found car insurance documents indicating that Brown had added his other wife to their policy on the car that she shared with the first wife. So they both had the same car, apparently? I'm not sure how that works. Brown's first wife, who married to Brown in 1993, lives in a community that's 56 miles southeast of the second wife, who lives in Baton Rouge. So for 5 years, neither woman nor the local authorities knew that he was living this double life.
Yikes.
And now he got caught. I just don't understand that. There was an episode of some show that we watched where there was a guy who had like 5 different families.
Why would anybody want that? I mean, it's hard enough to be happy in one house.
Well, this guy, this dude here just has 2, but I remember the one where he had like 5 different families, and all of these kids, they didn't know they had other, half siblings everywhere.
So bizarre.
And when he finally got caught, all of the women were fighting over who got to keep him, and I was like, "That's not the fight that would happen in my house."
That's not the fight. No way.
I would be fighting over keeping my life.
Yes, you would.
And other important parts.
Yes, you would.
Just throwing that out there. All right, I've got a link to that story and the other story, both of our scoops. Like I said, only 2 stories today, but pretty good stories. I've got links to both of those in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you have ideas for t-shirt designs, but you don't have a clue how to print them? Or maybe you'd like to have t-shirts and coffee mugs available to buy online with your business logo printed on them. There's a website that makes it easy. We set ours up in about 10 minutes. There's no sign-up fee, no minimum orders, no monthly fees. It's just a really easy way to put some cool items online for sale, and you get paid every time somebody buys them. You don't have to print or ship anything. Just sign up, upload your designs, and then let people know where they can get your cool stuff. More details available at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us today. Actually, 2 special guests joining us. We've talked in the past with Dar Dixon. He's an actor that's been in a bunch of amazing projects. And one of the projects that he and I talked about is a project called The Passenger. And we have Gary Emrick on the line with us. Dar is also on the line. But first of all, let's say hello to Gary. How are you, sir?
Fine. I'm doing great.
Now, let's talk about The Passenger. And what was your role in this project?
I was the producer for The Passenger. My job was to coordinate everybody, make sure everything came into place, make sure all the locations were in place, the legal permits were taken care of, just all the stuff that a producer does behind the scenes, and coordinating just every little detail that there possibly was. And there's a whole wonderfully long story about all the different details that didn't fall into place, but that was my job. I managed it with the help of my good Lord to get everything done in time.
That's awesome. And again, the movie is called The Passenger, and in the movie, you'll see a guy by the name of Dar Dixon. We've had a chance to talk to him on the program before. He's also on the line with us right now. Dar, you actually won an award. You were nominated for an award for this short film, The Passenger. What was that like to have your name associated with the award that was awarded for this?
It was a complete outrage, and I'm still upset over it. Just kidding. No, Gary got a hold of me. What's it been, Gary? Like 3 weeks ago, something like that.
About that, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, you let me know that it was nominated. I got nominated for Best Lead Actor in the Orlando. Gary, help me out. The Christian.
It's the international. Yeah, the International Christian Film Festival takes place in Orlando. Hopefully, we'll be bringing the award home with us.
Well, I'm going to be praying for you. I hope you get that. That would be really, really nice. And again, the movie is called The Passenger, and that's not the only film festival that it's going to. You guys are taking this to quite a few film festivals. And with a short, are there quite a few movies that do that route when they put a project together? We'll visit with Gary. Is this kind of common how you do that, where it goes from festival to festival like that?
Yes, there's a number of organizations that produce these short films. I belong to one called the 168 Film Project, and that's it's basically a competition amongst producers worldwide. About 80 producers every year get together and produce a little 10-minute Christian film based on a Bible verse. And they only have 168 hours, that's exactly 1 week, to get it done. And that's what this film was. It was an absolute race for time. And you can just imagine all the crazy things that were going on. We're trying to find a location, and one guy says no, and first he'd say yes, and we'd show up, and it's like, no, you can't. And it's like, what? So we just, it took a lot of prayer. This is a Christian organization, so the bottom line is we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, and a lot of miracles happened on that set. And as a result of putting that film together,
that's
a nomination. That's awesome. It's a miracle itself.
That's very, very cool. And again, visiting right now with Gary Emrick. He's the producer, and also on the line we have Dar Dixon. He's starring in the movie The Passenger. Now, you're not the passenger, though. You're the driver, isn't that right?
I am the driver, and the passenger is a really great actor named Jared Day. And I can't give away too much, but Gary, I don't even know what the Bible verse is that you based this upon.
It's funny. It's been a while, so I was just looking it up myself, trying to figure out if I could find it. I'm sure I can. I believe
it's kind of a redemption for the driver. My name is Rinaldi, and the character's name is Rinaldi, and he's not the most pleasant of human beings. And an incident occurs, and therein lies the kind of transformation and salvation of Rinaldi at the end of the film. It's quite a journey to take in a short film, honestly. You could make a full-length feature about something like this.
Absolutely.
I can give you a little more details on it. Essentially, we have this ruthless character who's driving a car, and he's on the phone and gets distracted and runs into somebody, runs him over.
Oh, wow.
And he's afraid that he may have killed him and runs. And ends up going into a little local cafe out in the middle of the desert, and comes across a bunch of very strange people who seem to have his number. And then eventually, of course, he comes across the deputy sheriff who's right there, and he has some questions for him. The deputy innocently doesn't know what happened, but Dar's character is scared to death. He thinks he's going to get arrested. Eventually, he leaves there, gets back in the car, and there's a strange person in the back seat of his car, which is Jared Day, and he's questioning him as he drives away, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It's a psychological drama.
That's awesome.
It's just an amazing story. To give the writers credit.
Absolutely. When you're doing a short film and you're limited on the amount of time that you can have this last, that seems to me like that might actually be more difficult than if you have a full-length film where you've got all kinds of time to play out a story. So we're going to visit with Dar on this. Dar, as the actor in that, do you feel like crunched for time trying to squeeze things in to make it all come together, or when you do a short film, does it all just kind of seem to fall in place?
That is an interesting question. As an actor, you are working within the parameters of the script, and of course, you have to do work and kind of fill in the blank spaces that aren't addressed in the script for each character. I mean, that's basic tenets of acting. But no, I didn't feel any time crunch in terms of telling the story. But I forgot all about the fact this was the 168 Film Festival, and we had literally 1 week to shoot. It's a 1 week? 168 hours, right? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we shot it over 3 days, and of course, then we had to edit it, we had to sweeten it, we had to get music added to it. Just an amazing array of things had to happen, and then we have to submit it within the exactly 168 hours. If we submit 1 second late, we're disqualified.
Oh, wow.
And so we literally have to just hand walk it into a facility and say, here it is, check our names in. And then they check the film out, and they are all judged. And then usually in August they have a big, giant film festival where they show all 80 films, and they give out awards for best film, best actor, best writing, best music, best everything. Just like an Academy Awards show. It's just amazing, and it's an all-Christian event. Every one of these films is based on some sort of Bible verse, and there's everything from sci-fi to comedy to serious drama to music videos. It's just a fascinating process, and so we're honored to be a part of it.
Again, the movie is called The Passenger. It is a short, and I'm going to throw some details online so you can learn a little more about it and maybe see the next film festival that it's going to be in. Again, on the line we had Dar Dixon and Gary Emrick. Gary, thank you guys both very much for taking time to chat with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And again, the movie is called The Passenger. It is a short film. And again, I'll throw some information on our Facebook page and on our new show notes blog at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
In a world that constantly tells you you're not good enough,
12 easy ways to lose weight now.
It's easy to start believing that. I'm Amanda Johnson. I have a new perspective on the self-help genre. My book, Becoming Enough, A Heroine's Journey to the Already Perfect Self, will guide you to find your own happiness. Learn to block out the distractions of what the world thinks and learn to be happy with who you truly are. Becoming Enough. Available now on Amazon, or learn more at amandajohnson.tv.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What is that, John?
Toto, the dog, was paid $125 per week while filming The Wizard of Oz. That'd buy a lot of milk bones right there.
Especially back in the day.
I know. That was in the 1930s. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The only member of the band ZZ Top without a beard, guess what his last name is? Beard.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The electric chair was invented by a dentist. Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. If you're a dentist, we love you.
Sadistic.
We are not anti-dentites.
I am.
No, you're not.
I'm terrified of the dentist.
Do you remember the whole episode of Seinfeld where they were talking about being anti-dentites?
I do.
Which I don't think that's really a thing. That's just a Seinfeld word. But for me, when I was a kid, we didn't go to the dentist much.
I am terrified. I still don't go to the dentist
But I'm saying, when we would go, it was never good. Because it was like, oh, my mouth hurts so bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of my own fault. Because, if you go on a regular basis, they help you make sure that you don't have that.
Oh, I'm just terrified of them. I don't know. I
don't
just,
be afraid.
Oh, it's awful.
Hey, it's okay. They just want to help you,
My
Heidi.
blood pressure goes up. I get all rashy.
But that happens to you every day for something, though. It's kind of a common occurrence. A couple of fun facts right there, courtesy of LearnWithoutLoans.com.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
Now, your grandiloquent word of the day, mondegreen. What do you think mondegreen means, Heidi?
I honestly couldn't even tell you.
M-O-N-D-E-G-R-E-E-N. Mondegreen. It's a noun. Misunderstood or misinterpreted word or phrase resulting from the mishearing of the lyrics of a song. Mondegreen.
Oh, I heard that. I get that all the time.
Some of the common mondegreens, misheard song lyrics. Gladly the cross-eyed bear. And it's really gladly the cross I would bear. That's from a traditional hymn.
Cross-eyed bear.
Another mondegreen. There's a bathroom on the right. No. It's there's a bad moon on the rise. That's Creedence Clearwater.
Yep.
Jimi Hendrix. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. No, it was actually excuse me while I kiss the sky. Another mondegreen from Bob Dylan. Dead ants are my friend. They're blowing in the wind. No, it was The Answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind.
What about Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza?
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
Tiny Dancer.
And the Blinded by the Light song. I won't
we're
even say what
probably
I think that
we're
phrase says.
Probably just wrap up right there. This has been your grandiloquent word of the day. Again, the word today, mondegreen.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now, some weird news on this Friday. An elementary school principal in northern Texas is discontinuing her tradition of birthday spankings to students after parents were complaining about it. I wonder why they would complain about that. This is just a little weird.
Yeah, that's a little bizarre.
I don't even do that for my own kids, but I certainly wouldn't do it to some strangers' kids who come to my school.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I'm nothing against your traditions if you do this kind of thing, but Alvord Independence School District Superintendent Randy Brown released a statement announcing the end of the spankings at the elementary school. 2 complaints about Principal Bridget Williams' tradition. Now, again, I'm sure she didn't mean anything other than just, hey, it's kind of a fun thing, and I'm sure it wasn't like, walloping these kids.
Right. It's not like she had a board.
He expressed support for the practice. He says Williams decided on her own account to discontinue the celebratory, that's a hard word to say, spankings after 8 years. Brown says Williams will give students a hug or a high five. Maybe
they're going to have a problem with that,
skip
too.
the
Just
hugs.
quit touching them.
Maybe a fist bump or a high five.
There you go. Fist bump would be probably.
Some parents call the tradition inappropriate, but more than a dozen say it's just playful and fun. So there are a lot of parents came forward saying, I was not offended at all. I know it was just it was, the way they do it.
Yeah, it's...
It
wasn't meant to be bad, but this day and age, you just don't.
You got to be careful.
Touch anybody.
Absolutely.
Period.
So don't
keep your
spank
hands
me.
to yourself.
Don't spank me on my birthday. And don't pinch me on St. Patrick's Day. We'll all be just fine. Little weird news right there. Brought to you by 49bydesign.com. Now, your moment of duh. And there are times that these moments of duh come along, and some of them are like, that wasn't really that dumb. But this one from Minnesota, the bus driver there, she's in trouble after she sent text messages and looked up yo mama jokes on her phone and disclosed personal information while driving a school bus with a bunch of kids in it. That's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to do it even on your own, Brenda, but when you've got a bunch of kids in the vehicle with you, it's a really bad idea. 15 separate charges of reckless driving and other traffic offenses. And parents were complaining about her distracted driving during her bus route, or route, however you want to say it. According to video and audio recordings taken on the bus, she was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the swerving through traffic lanes. She allowed children to move freely about the bus while she was driving, and then she shared details of her personal life with kids, including inappropriate life lessons that contain profanity.
Oh, my God.
The video showed up of her texting on her cell phone and looking up yo mama jokes on it. And then she handed the cell phone to a student on the bus to read them aloud on the intercom system. She faces child endangerment charges. She's scheduled to make her first appearance in June after being summoned to court. So,
just so we're clear, I am not, nor have I ever been, a school bus driver.
Okay, just want to make sure. This is not Heidi. Does this sound like something you would do, though? Maybe a little too. You wouldn't do that if you were driving. I know you wouldn't.
No.
You yell at me for answering my phone while I'm driving, so I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have done that. But this is today's moment of duh.
In a world that constantly tells you you're not good enough,
12 easy ways to lose weight now.
It's easy to start believing that. I'm Amanda Johnson. I have a new perspective on the self-help genre. My book, Becoming Enough, A Heroine's Journey to the Already Perfect Self, will guide you to find your own happiness. Learn to block out the distractions of what the world thinks and learn to be happy with who you truly are. Becoming Enough. Available now on Amazon, or learn more at amandajohnson.tv.
Now, fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this fake news or is this something that really happened in the great state of Florida? A Florida man accidentally shot his wife twice after he mistook her for a burglar in their home. Fake news or Florida? You think that really happened?
I could see that happening.
And it did happen.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I could see shooting once. But you'd think after your wife screamed, "Hey, it's me, you idiot," you'd probably stop shooting.
I don't know. I could see that happening. If you're scared and you shoot, you're shooting like you could easily pull off two shots quick.
Police report a Florida man.
Just be careful.
I know.
Don't be sneaking around the house at night because
a police report that a Florida man named Nathan Simmons accidentally shot his wife Allison twice. Thank goodness she's okay. While he thought she was a burglar in the home. The two of them woke up. They're both 31. They thought somebody broke into their Orlando home, and this is a few weeks ago on Wednesday. But they went to sleep after finding out the home was clear. Allison woke up 45 minutes later to go use the restroom. She used the light from her cell phone to help guide her instead of turning on the lights. That's when Nathan Simmons woke up after his wife was out of the bathroom and shot her twice, thinking she was a burglar in the house because she didn't have lights on. She was taken to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities say the couple gave similar accounts about the incident. They're treating the shooting as an accident. The couple is not facing any charges. So it is very fortunate that didn't turn to a really bad story.
And the husband needs to go to the range and get some
careful.
Practice in.
Be very, very careful.
Shot her twice and didn't kill her. That's a problem.
No.
Center mass, dude. Center mass.
I don't even stand a chance if I get thirsty in the middle of the night. That's why when I walk around, I turn the lights on.
Heidi, just so you know,
I'm sing
awake.
A song. It's me getting a drink. Please don't shoot. Please. Pretty please. All right. We have some good news coming your way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and we need really good news because it's the end of a week. It's a Friday. And
end of a very long,
and we
stressful
deserve
week.
some good news, don't you think?
Yes.
All right, everybody, you deserve some good news. So I have some good news for you, courtesy of Odiva. Odiva is a monthly subscription service just for the ladies, and it's available through the website radiosavings.com. So here's our good news for today. I think this is such a cool story. Here's the headline. Quadriplegic stuns the crowd by nailing the national anthem with an instrument that he designed himself.
Oh, cool.
So a man who's a quadriplegic, which means he can't use his arms or his legs, he's in a wheelchair. He delighted a stadium of thousands last weekend by playing the national anthem on a musical device that he created to overcome his disability. He's 56 years old. David Whalen became paralyzed from the neck down when he endured a skiing accident when he was 18 years young. But you know what? That didn't stop David. He said, I am not going to quit making music. He enjoyed that. As a means of kicking off the Albany Empire's second home arena football game at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York last week, he performed the Star-Spangled Banner on a thing called a jam box. It's a harmonica-like device that attaches to a computer, and it allows people with limited mobility to create music with their breath. Moving the mouthpiece left or right determines which note is played, like a harmonica.
Sure.
Because he does not have the use of his hands, he used this Jambox hand-free bracelet for his performance at the stadium. He did a trumpet-like rendition of the hallowed tune, and the crowd went wild. And I think it is just such a cool story to hear that this guy decided, you know, I'm not gonna just sit in this chair and be done. I'm gonna continue to move forward. And he helped develop this technology to make this happen. So it is a really cool thing. And they've got a video. If you're like me, you'll get choked up just watching it. But I've got a link to that in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.